It was my first real job, with benefits and everything, and at the best plant in town. I would be working there until college started in the fall. I was in shipping, which meant that my shift started 4 hours later than the other guys since I had to load what they had made onto the trucks and train cars that came to our loading docks. My buddy was Dennis. We worked together in shipping, taking turns with the small case forklift, maneuvering it onto and off of the trains. It was our break time, early evening. Everybody else was going home, but we still had 4 more hours to go. We were sitting on the loading dock, swinging our feet out into the open space where the trucks would pull up. As I was unwrapping my usual bologna and peanut butter sandwich, my favorite, Dennis sat staring out over the valley, bursting with spring green leaves, filled with the songs of birds. "That's my old house over there," he said, pointing. I saw nothing. There, the 2 little yellow lights, one over the other, with the trees around it? That's the kitchen window and the upper bedroom window. My old place. I saw it now, misty with haze on this warm June evening. I was the baby, you might say. 1 boy, and 4 older sisters. Not a fate I would wish on any man. I nodded sagely, as if I understood. The rest of this will be in his own words, until I reappear at the end. It was just about this time of year, a few weeks earlier, and my oldest sister was having fits. When she got in one of those moods, nobody dared talk to her, not even Dad. See, it was time for the junior-senior prom, the big night of the year around here. She thought she had it all sewed up so that the school hero, Bobby, captain of the football team, president of student council, would take her to the dance. She is one tough cookie, and she had intimidated all the girls into turning down his invitation while dropping heavier and heavier hints on him that he needed her to be his date. Finally, he told her point blank, "I'm not stupid, Susie, I know exactly what you've been doing. Well, I don't like you, I never did like you, and I'll never let you manipulate me into going out with you. Call off your gang," because she had her posse out working for her too, "and tell them that I'm going stag rather than go with you." And that is that. Other kids heard the conversation, because she had pinned him down in the school hallway thinking he wouldn't dare publicly refuse her. How dare he shame me like that? I'll never live it down. That damned bastard. "Now, dear," came Mom's gentle voice from the kitchen. "Shut up, Ma." Susie ruled the roost. Nobody dared stand up to her for long. "I am going to teach that jerk a lesson. Mark my words. So then, I need your ideas." And she glared at all the rest of us. "You could pull a prank on him. Put sugar in the gas tank of that nice car of his," suggested sweet little Linda, the junior. He had a beautiful '57 Chevy he'd fixed up and even painted himself, better than mint condition, ground down heads, dual exhaust, beautiful. Nope. Too obvious. Everybody would know I was involved, and I'd get in trouble. Throw rotten eggs on his house? Brenda, 9th grade. Nah, that's an old Halloween trick, and once again everybody would know it was me and I could maybe get into legal trouble. What about you embarrass him at the prom? Put sneezing powder in his snacks? Connie, 8th grade, just a year older than me. Sneezing powder is a little kid trick. I need something better than that, but good work, sis. Yeah, it's got to be at the prom, something people will talk about for years, so that he'll never be able to hold up his handsome head around here again. Now they all looked at me. My turn. I like Bobby, he's cool. Susie can go to hell. Now, Dennis, came Mom's voice, while my sisters took turns pummeling me black and blue. But I just let them punish me. I would not take sides with Susie against Bobby. Finally, they got tired of their fun and got back to the business of embarrassing Bobby. Maybe you could set up some cute girl to dance with him, get him all romantic maybe, and then for the last dance she pulls off her wig and she's bald? We could use Mom's wig, Susie could restyle it, that she uses to cover up her alopecia. She would not let us use it, but we could just unofficially borrow it for a few hours. Then when the wig is off we'd take photos, it would be priceless. That was Brenda. Yes, we're getting close. But what girl would be willing to shave her head, even for me? Besides, he would recognize anybody we could get to do that for us, and he'd be on his guard. Do any of you know anybody from outside the school district who could help us out like this? They all pondered, but nobody had any ideas. It just needs to be someone he wouldn't recognize, even if she's from around here. Somebody we could persuade to do our bidding. She wouldn't even have to be real cute, we could work her up into something special. I'm going to have my own beauty salon, you know. I know a few tricks and tips. One of them sighed, then another sighed. Linda said, Nancy is just 1 year younger than me, and she's kind of plain, but she'd help us out if I asked, and Bobby couldn't possibly know who she is. What? That kid with the bad zits and the buck teeth? Nice try, but we need better material to work with than that. Still, I like how you think. Yes. Bobby would never know a 7th grader. We could make her up to look older, pat her bosom. You are sure an expert at patting your bosom. I snorted and waited to get pummeled. Unfortunately, that never happened. Instead, all my sisters began looking at me closely. 7th grade, good skin, no zits, nice teeth, not too short or tall, no Adam's apple to speak of, nice and slender. Oh no! I shouted. I can tell what you're thinking. No way, Jose! But they were closing in on me from all sides. We would not have to worry about asking a girl to shave her head either, they agreed. His crew cut is practically down to the scalp already. No. Please. I'll find you somebody else. I know lots of 7th grade girls. But it was too late. They dragged me into Susie and Linda's room and started with the makeup. Aw, isn't he cute? Such a nice basic complexion to start with, too. Just a little foundation to even it out. Maybe first a small stripe of white down the center of his nose to make it thinner, and a little bronzer on the sides, yes. Now some concealer under the eyes, pluck the brows, hey. I've still got to go to school, you know, but they ignored me, softener for the lips, then lip color, don't smear it up, Dennis, powder, just a little blush, don't look like a tramp, eyebrow pencil, just lightly, some shell and pearl color for the eyelids, then black liner and mascara, easy does it, there. Perfect. They positioned me in front of their full-length mirror, but I thought I looked like a joke, and I said so. Right. The joke will be on Bobby. But he will never know what's up until you pull off your wig. Quick as a wink she sneaked into our folks' bedroom and stole Mom's wig. She plopped it on my head. Now, in the mirror, I looked vaguely like school photos of our mom in the family scrapbook. I began to have very bad feelings about all this. Susie grabbed me by the throat and smiled sweetly. One word about this from you, twerp, and you will wish you had never been born, she purred. What a life. I couldn't wait to grow up. But what could I do? At least the girls scrubbed all the makeup off completely, and then carefully penciled in some new eyebrows for me to wear to school. Time flew by, and before I knew it the dreaded day had arrived. I had tried to catch Bobby's eye to warn him, but we were in different wings of the school, of course, and he was so busy all the time, it just never happened. So the girls made me wash extra hard to get rid of the boy stink, they said. Then they put some girl deodorant on me, and even some feminine spray perfume product between my legs, which was disgusting. I did not need to shave because there was nothing to shave, not even peach fuzz. They spritzed me up with perfume and forced me into a super tight waist snipper, so I thought I was going to pass out from loss of breath. They said my butt was too small, but Brenda had a throw pillow in her room that was heart-shaped, and they cut the cover off of that and split it up into two parts, which they then sewed between two panties so that it made a remarkably convincing outline of girly hips and butt. When they put the thing on me, I couldn't help it, I began to get hard. So they whacked it until I wilted, and then they twisted on a real tight pair of nylon panties underneath to keep me under control, and then put those padded panties back on again. They taped up my chest, and I never did figure out where they learned that trick, but it made it look as if I had the cleavage of a real girl. Then I got the privilege of wearing one of Susie's real bras, and she was a C-cup. It was filled with pads stuffed with birdseed, and with kapok from our porch cushions, and was reasonably heavy enough yet soft enough to fool somebody who did not look too close. Then they did the makeup thing again, more thoroughly than ever, and put an elastic band around my head to hold the wig on. Susie had worked really quickly on the wig because they didn't want Mom to have time to know it was missing, but she had done a great job. It was a pageboy bob, very pert and modern looking. Then came the gown. Girls spent forever making these gowns for the prom, unless their folks were rich enough to go to White's Women's Wear and buy one. They had all gone together to make this masterpiece. It was seafoam green, very tight in the midriff, to show how delightfully slender I was, with cap sleeves and a revealing sweetheart neckline. I think they said it was taffeta. It had a full skirt and came just at the knee, not too immodest. They had already looked at my school shoes to get my size, so they had a pair of green shoes in the right size for me, with 1-inch heels. You're already nearly too tall without real heels, and besides you're so clumsy you might fall with 3-inch heels. Merciless. We all looked at me in Susie's mirror. I was a stranger. This was a girl I would like to date. She looked cute but nice, not too hot or intimidating, just a pretty innocent-looking girl. I wanted to cry. Don't mess up your mascara, twerp, they warned me. Now, what is your name? Dennis, I pouted. They whacked me, of course. Last chance. Your name? Donna who? Donna Smith. You look like you're at least 16, so why hasn't Bobby seen you before? My cousin invited me here for the event. I'm from the Springfield School District. And what will you do when he takes you around the floor for the last dance? Look to you guys for a cue, so you have your cameras ready, get him to kiss me, and then whisk off my wig. Good. See to it that you do it. Or else. The dance was at the American Legion, the place with the biggest dance floor in the area. The girls had it all set up so that one of Susie's friends would introduce me to Bobby. It was somebody he wouldn't suspect of being in on any pranks. Even in 1-inch heels I was not too confident as I climbed the front stairs to the dance hall. Kids were already milling around. There was a pretty good band tuning up, local, but not bad. Bobby was with his football buddies over in one corner. I was almost dragged over there. Hey, Bobby! Did I ever tell you about my cousin Donna? No? Oh, I'm sure I must have, sometime. She's from the Springfield School District, just here for a visit, but I convinced her this would be fun. Would you mind showing her around a little bit? He smiled down at me in a friendly, non-lecherous way and said, sure. How about we start with showing you to the punch bowl? It's warm in here. It was, too. With all those kids, and a warmer than average spring, it was getting toasty even before the dancing started. So we went over to the refreshments and he said, I know Springfield, they are in our athletic conference, we play them every year. I know, and you absolutely murdered us the past 3 years. I smiled up at him. I knew this because as it turns out I had been following Bobby and the team since I was little. I felt like I was playing my part really well. Ah, but you guys beat us pretty bad 4 years ago, he replied, with a gentle squeeze to my elbow. That is just because your coach did not play you, since you were just a freshman. But every year after that, you scored at least 2 touchdowns. He looked at me more seriously. You seem to know a lot about me, for a girl from another school. I felt myself blushing. I barely know you and probably should not say this, but I first noticed you at that game 2 years ago, where you really tore us up. I have followed your career ever since, and actually it was me who asked my cousin if she could introduce me tonight because, I guess because I just always hoped to get to know you better. And in a weird way this was all true, so it was easy to pretend. I had in fact followed his football career all that time. He was so nice. Well, this must be my lucky night. I thought I would not have a date, and now I have the prettiest girl at the prom. I could feel my cheeks burning now as I murmured thank you, which sounded so lame. But he gave me a little hug and led me out on the floor. Needless to say I had little dance experience, and none as a girl. Still, he gathered me into himself gently, with his arm around my accentuated waist, and guided me around the room. I was amazed at how quickly I got used to it, following his lead, snuggling into his shoulder and chest, joining with him in one single movement. Those were the old days, the foxtrot was still big. More physical contact. You're really good, do you know that? You must dance a lot, he whispered to me. Nope. Not much at all. So the credit must obviously go to my excellent partner. I joked. He chuckled, but I could tell he appreciated what I said. We danced every dance, only taking time out for a sip of punch and some more conversation. One time his buddy Jack cut in and I danced with him too. He told me you are the best thing that could have happened to Bobby. He's such a great guy, but that bitch Susie has been trying to wreck this dance for him. Too bad for her. Be nice to him, okay? He doesn't deserve to be hurt. Wow, his friends are looking out for him, he must really be something special, I thought. Back with Bobby, I said, you have great friends, Bobby. That is a sign that you are a really good person. Now it was his turn to blush. Jack just talks too much. But he gave me a little hug as he said it, and I snuggled in even closer to him. As the stars were coming out, we took a breather on the back veranda where there was a fresh breeze. So what do you like to do back in Springfield, Donna? Oh, I hang out with my friends, and I like swimming, but we don't have a pool, so it's only a city league and not part of your athletic conference. I babysit, and I'm a candy striper at the hospital. I hoped I did not have to add too much detail, because I knew almost nothing about any of that stuff except for swimming. Oh, I like swimming too. Do you do medley? Phew, at least I could carry a discussion along those lines. I can, but I prefer my specialties, butterfly and breaststroke. Oh, those are demanding and technical, lots of breath control. I mostly stick to freestyle, he replied. It's not too hard once you get used to it, I said. You just relax and focus on the rhythm, not worrying about oxygen, just sort of let the breathing happen, it gets to feel natural. And since I had actually done these strokes, I showed him what I meant as I closed my eyes and lifted up my face, relaxing inwardly, letting the breath flow naturally. And he kissed me. I gasped. He apologized. I'm sorry, we barely know each other, but you looked so wonderful just then, like an angel. I couldn't help myself. I remembered what my sisters were going to do to him before long. An angel? I said. I'm afraid not. I wish I were the person you think I am. I wanted to cry, but remembered my mascara. He held me close. There, he comforted me. Nothing can be that bad about you, can it? I can already tell that you are one of the finest people I have ever met. Don't cry, I told myself. But it was too late, the tears were pouring down my carefully made-up face. Sorry, I'm so sorry, I feel so foolish, I blurted. Then I excused myself. I had to repair my makeup. I had a little clutch bag with me for touch-ups, but obviously I couldn't go to the boys' room. Taking a deep breath, I swung the door open, the door with the silhouette of the generic person in a dress on it. Generic person in a dress, that would be me. I dodged inside and began dabbing at my face, doing my best, which was not great. What's wrong there, babe? Guy troubles? Here, let me lend a hand. It was Mrs. Jones, a high school teacher, one of the chaperones. I was shaking in my boots, but she was very kind and gentle. I doubt she caught wise because all she said was, "This too shall pass, dear. Don't let him bring you down." She helped fix my makeup and then gave me a hug and sent me back out there. In the girls, John the First could have run into any of the many kids I know who might have recognized me, and what could I have done then? Guess I was just lucky. Bobby was waiting for me. Feeling better now? He asked. I nodded, but said nothing. He guided me back to the dance floor. We did a cha-cha, which I could do because it is pretty much the same moves for a guy or a girl. Bobby was trying to take it easy with me, I could tell. He was not saying much at all, just little things to pass the time. But I felt like I wanted to get to know him better, wanted to talk more deeply, even after my meltdown. Why? Because I liked him. Does that mean I liked him that way? I'm not sure I'll ever know. But I asked him, so I suppose you've had some scholarship offers for college? Have you, narrowed down your choices? State looks real strong next year. Yeah, State did give me an offer, and it's very tempting. But I'm not sure. Oh, I suppose there are lots of other choices? Well, maybe, but it's not that so much. See, it's this war thing. The country's at war. It's my country too. I believe I should do something. I swallowed hard. Do you mean like go join the army? But if you go to college you can get a deferment, and then if the war is still going on when you graduate you can go fight then. Why now? Why not wait? Other guys my age, guys like me, who don't have my options, are out there fighting now. I owe it to them. I pressed my pretty face into his shoulder. Oh, Bobby, you're such a good man, maybe you're too darned good. I wish there was something I could say, but can I talk you out of being brave and noble? No, because then you would stop being Bobby. And I hugged him then, the first time I ever did really press my body into his, and he hugged me back. Someone was making announcements from the bandstand. I knew it was getting close to the time for the last dance. I made up my mind. My sisters would kill me, and my idol Bobby would hate me, but I had to at least save him from their plottings. Can we go out to the veranda again, please? Just for a moment? Sure, Donna, I could use a breather. We stood together by the railing looking out over the valley, this same beautiful green valley, saying nothing. He held me close, waiting for me to speak. I hugged him back, I couldn't help myself. Finally, I worked up my nerve and turned to face him. I have a confession to make, Bobby. I hope you won't hate me, but you have to know the truth. He said nothing, only looked at me with quiet surprise in his eyes. He seemed to be preparing himself to be hurt, and that just made it all the tougher for me. Bobby, I am being used by Susie, your enemy. She wants to embarrass you. She wants you to kiss me at the last dance, and then I'm supposed to pull off my wig and you can see that I have no hair. Then she and her friends will take photos and spread them all over school. No hair? Is that all? What's so bad about that? My mom had chemo, but she's still beautiful. Oh, Bobby, you are so perfect. What a wonderful son you must be. But you need to know this now. It's not just the hair. It's who I am. So, you are not Donna Smith from Springfield? That's right. You are somebody close to Susie then? Yes. There was a long pause. The moon was just rising, big and waxy white, filtering through the thick green canopy of leaves. I still don't recognize you. I know her sisters. You are much prettier than any of them. Even though I was feeling awful right then, I still resolved to remember that statement, and I always have. I sighed. Bobby, I am her little brother, Dennis. I'm sorry. I should have told you earlier, but I didn't know how. But I don't want them to hurt you. Now it was Bobby's turn to gasp. He held my chin up in his hand so that the moonlight fell full in my face. Well, Dennis, I gotta say you're the prettiest little guy I ever danced with. And he chuckled, a soft, sad chuckle. At least he didn't seem to be mad at me. So what can we do now? I asked. They will be watching for us inside. Then we won't go back inside. I'll be sorry to miss the last dance with you, Dennis. But we can just cut around the back of the Legion to the parking lot, my car is right there. We'll be gone before they know it. So we quickly and quietly did sneak over there. I stumbled a little in my shoes and he had to wait for me. What a car, it was perfect, and he had done all the work himself. It started up with barely a sound, and we were on our way, breaking the speed limit, windows down. He started laughing for some reason, and then I started laughing too. Maybe it just all seemed too silly. All too soon we were at my house. Bobby, whatever you do, and I know this sounds weird, but I'll be praying for you. If you want to let me know what happens, I'm in the phone book. To my surprise, he just accepted that, squeezing my hand. You're a good person, Dennis. I'm glad I got to know you, even though it came in an unexpected way. Then he was off, and the girls never did catch him or embarrass him. I ran in the house and went straight to Mom. I showed her everything, how Susie had altered her wig, calm old Mom was actually really mad about that, and my padded underwear and everything. She helped me get out of my clothes and makeup, and when the girls came home ready to beat me up for not playing my part, she was ready for them instead. They got grounded for a month, and if they ever retaliated against me it would be for 6 whole months. Susie got married right out of high school, some guy she never even liked very much. They have 2 kids and she has her salon. Linda went to state and joined the Peace Corps. Brenda works here, in the plant office. Linda ran off to San Francisco and we never heard from her again. Bobby did stay in touch. He called me a couple times to keep me posted and sent a letter when he enrolled. I got one letter from him when he arrived at his base overseas. It was all full of places where somebody had cut out words that were top security or something, I guess, but he was his same old self, wondering how I was, telling me to take care of myself. Nobody ever heard from him after that. MIA, they said. Me, I never went out much, don't think I'll get married. Am I gay? Who knows? But for better or worse, when it comes to thinking about romance, my mind goes back to that one weird night, and I don't see how anything could get more romantic than that. And that was all Dennis ever told me about his prom night. The bell rang, our break was over. I crammed my sandwich into my mouth and we raced back to our workstations.